I binged all of Alice in Borderland in literally 2 days, mainly because I was a massive fan of the concept, but these games aren't fair at all. The first game is meant to be a demonstration on the intelligence of the main character, but like most of his conclusions are completely like what? First of all, he just assumes that the basement is the same width and length as the building above it, which can be disproved because when you go into other rooms that are off the path and you die from them, there clearly have to be rooms there to die in because when you enter the area is when you die. And not to mention that 2 of the rooms are completely based on luck, assuming you didn't have that sacrifice in the beginning. And I don't think the sacrifice was a scripted part. Unless I can get sacrifices, I'm not surviving game 1. But I may have noticed a little door inconsistency. This has like a 4 out of 10 survivability rating.
If you're not willing to cold hard sacrifice the randos that you're in the lobby with,
then you could at least try taking turns with people to pick random doors if you didn't understand the gimmick. All games have rules.
yeah, I don't know about that one, Alice.
The next game was the apartment complex. This is actually one of the few games I will say, I think it's pretty fair. I mean, they completely lie about how you're supposed to do the ending. The way they frame it makes it sound like you just need to get to the safe house and you win, and then you'll survive the explosion. But I'm trying to figure out, if they lose, the people hunting them who are also in a game also die, because the bomb explodes killing them too. Like, what? This game really is all about teamwork though. You get people who are going to sabotage you, you kind of lose. You're going to see that for like most of the games. But being dependent on other people is kind of the point of most of the games. By yourself, as long as you aren't really dumb at avoiding and you don't get in the hallway where they have line of sight of you, you're pretty good. I'd give this like a 8 out of 10 survivability if you play it smart. When I was watching it the whole time I was thinking, what if I just go get the gun? I'd be broken for the rest of the games, which I guess would have paid off against the person who was hiding in the last room, so I guess I'll take that. Of course, that's a lot easier said than done, but don't try and fight them, just get the gun out of their hand. If you need an overall strat, just spam doors or pull a Chishiya.
行きますか。ようこそ。理想の楽園ビーチへ。
Kind of going meta outside of the games, just like the overall world. Getting items is kind of very useful, but you don't want to carry too much. I would probably not have joined the beach. I mean, I wouldn't even really gone after them, which I guess would have saved me playing the 10 of hearts. Hide and seek is by far one of the least fair games. Being the 7 of hearts, I get it's supposed to be hard, but having a 75% death rate is just absurd.
Especially considering the early games you come into knowing nothing about the game. Like, obviously you probably shouldn't have gone in with all 3 of your friends, but I think a degree of luck on top of luck just is not fair.
Unlike other heart games, this game doesn't even try and trick you. It's just you're screwed. You have to betray people or you will not win, or you must come to the consensus that one of you should survive. At the best, I'd recommend maybe at the last second stare into someone's eyes and you'll both register as the wolf, but like, what? I'm just making shit up right now. Otherwise, just try and talk it out, get eye contact, and then go hide in the jungle. It really all just depends on the group. This one can't even have a survivability rating. If I had to give it though, maybe if I was with randos, I could probably get like a 7. But if you have a guy that's gonna beat you up on the spot, then, you know, say goodbye to that. For the bus game, this should not have been a 4 of clubs. It should have been an ace of clubs. I don't know how the hell you don't notice a massive goal on the side of a bus. Like, I know they don't explain all the rules, but there's like no direction for where the goal is. I thought it at first was like how far you can get away from the bus as well, right? But I wouldn't even thought to run from the tunnel if I was gonna do that. I would have thought like, oh, maybe I have to go run into the city. The farthest away from the bus survives. And I think that would have been a lot more interesting of a game because you're just like anxious the whole time. This has a 10 out of 10 survivability rating as long as you have at least one person who doesn't need glasses. Though you'd be questioning yourself the whole time like, oh, am I doing this right? That would have been a crazy hard game, but... If you get selected for the light bulb game...
Really, you just need to know the solution. You feel the light bulb, is it hot? You win. Personally, I didn't think of that. My mind was treating the world too much like a video game, so I didn't even think of like... I was like, what logic can I do to beat this? Generally, when it comes to probability, your odds for this are pretty good. Considering you get 1 for free, you basically have a 50-50. And they say you also have that 66% thing. In real world probability, that's not a real thing. Luckily, there's a foolproof, guaranteed way to beat this. Since you have that babe with you, just call her bluff and she'll do the puzzle for you. She ain't gonna let herself die.
The reason I specifically say that I would have a 0 out of 10 chance of survivability is because my strategy would have been breaking the light bulb and then waiting for it to get high enough, turning it on, figuring out which one electrocutes me a little bit, and then screaming that was the right one. Though, Looking back, I'm pretty sure the other prongs would have electrocuted you first before you got shocked by the light bulb. So, I mean, yeah, rip me, I guess. The only preamble to the 10 of hearts, I guess, is if you want to collect all the cards. Assuming you thought that having all the cards would make you survive, would, like, help you out in the long term, I really wouldn't stress about it. The only card I'd care about is the 10 of hearts, trying to get that one. Like, I probably wouldn't have gone for the deck of cards at all. If nobody has a suit, something's already up. And those cards are obviously a lot higher value than the cards we have right now. I think what frustrates me a little bit is that the cards have absolutely no point because you don't even get cards for beating the suit cards in the end. So it's like, bruh. One thing I don't get though is if there are repeat cards or not. Because a bunch of games have to be happening, so there must be repeats. So why not collect multiple decks at the same time? It just seems like a massive oversight. And you can't say, oh, it all happens in order, because then you would have definitely had it by the amount of party buses they send out to do games. Let's say you unfortunately get stuck in 10 of hearts, go hide. But don't hide inside, hide outside. You see how many people were on the roof? Literally 2 in the entire part. You want to go be Sherlock Holmes and solve the murder? Yeah, go be my guest. But eventually someone's gonna confess, and if no one confesses, someone's gonna figure out the stupid body was already killed by themselves. Especially with that one girl and her guilt. Though if it was a regular game and like let's say you only had one dealer who sacrificed himself, I feel like the first thing you would do is just start burning the bodies if you're gonna kill everybody. So they probably would have accidentally grabbed that body in the fray and just thrown it in the freaking fire. Like there's no point in keeping it for them, so they might as well. GG easy. This one really depends on the situation, but I'd give it like an 8, honestly. If you're playing Sherlock style though, you're stuck with a solid 3 out of 10. The fairness of this game is all about subversion, so I'd say it probably would be fair if it wasn't for the sheer amount of people that are there. For the typical person that maybe just got there, got like stuck in the game, they barely know what the beach is, it's really not fair at all for them because they have no swing power on what to do. The only one who made it solvable was Anne, but those types of skills that she has aren't accessible to everybody and have a lot of variability because if someone grabs the knife at the beginning because they're like, look at this knife, we can use this, you already screw up the whole thing. Before I go to stage 2, since this isn't the manga, I know I'm missing a couple of the manga-only ones. I would have loved to do them, but there's so much stuff you have to read for that story. It's just like, that's so many more games. Although this series is kind of watched by everyone already, so I guess it really doesn't matter. I don't even know how many people are going to watch this video. It's a shame you don't get to see all the suited cards in their entirety, considering they started personifying the cards once they hit stage 2. I know there are some suited cards that are shown in montages, so I guess I can briefly make speculations about them here. Okay, for example, there's the Queen of Clubs, which is that weird dodgeball game. That game looks hard, I'm not gonna lie. I think I would have gotten sniped and just fell. Especially with, like, your positioning. Like, if you get a far side, it's completely not fair at all, because it's, however closer you are to the middle, the harder it is. And I'm surprised it's not a sports game, like a spade. This one really is all about your throwing strength. Jack of Spades is literally just a fighting one. Best case scenario, just kind of camp on the side, go undetected, and then try and sneak the last person. I say your odds are like 3 out of 10. All depends on your team, honestly. Personally, I would have not gone for a single spade game at all. I'm taking diamond and hearts. Ironically, that probably would have screwed me, but the Jack of Diamonds is Mahjong. Are you good at Mahjong? No? Survivability 0 out of 10. Lastly, you have the King of Hearts. Super disappointed Mira isn't the King of Hearts, but this unknown game, which is kind of a waste of a king suit, apparently is just escaping an unknown beast. So, yeah. Are you good with mazes? 10 out of 10.
You know, not so weirdly enough, I actually forgot one, the Jack of Clubs. I don't know how this thing is not a spade, but whatever. It's like the most basic spade ever. You're just climbing a rope and you have to beat the Jack of Clubs. Can you do rope climbing? 10 out of 10.
Starting with the elusive King of Clubs for the actual stage 2 section. This game, I think, has a little too many vague rules. Depending on your strategy, this game can be extremely easy, especially against Kuma's team. First of all, you want 2 goalies, not 1. Like, first thing I thought is if they overwhelm the person for sacrifice last minute, then obviously one person isn't going to be enough. For the other three, it's really just all about how you want to play. Obviously, knowing the show, what you'd want to do is disable yourself and then go for the beacon, assuming they only have one guardian. The disabled person would then tackle the goalkeeper and then just get everyone else to touch it, and then boom, camp your spawn, you win. Looking at the game, you could also put your points in it more well-rounded. I would do like a 25-25, 50 split, giving the most aggressive player the most points. This game is a lot like a sports game. It's kind of hard to judge the immediate winner. But for a team that you know is willing to give it their all, obviously you shouldn't even bother with the boxes. You should just go straight for the goal. Playing it smart, I could say you could push this game up to a 6 out of 10 versus Kuma's team. But with my strategy, here's how you can get the 10 out of 10. First of all, you're going to need a sacrifice. And you're like, oh, they're going to kill themselves on the goalkeeper, right? Nope. They're going to chop their hand off. So you're going to get your boy Tata to cut his hand off. And then you're going to put him on the goal. The rules specifically say that anyone holding hands shares points. And guessing how the players played, I'm assuming more than 2 people can't hold hands. So now swap one of your weak goalkeepers out for one of your, kind of medium guys. And now you have a guy with infinite points and you're getting the most point value out of it. Then just start baiting all the guys. Pretend you're like, oh, I have no points, I'm running away. They come at you, you tag them. Uh-oh. And honestly, you could just break all of Borderland if 2 people with infinity touch each other and the whole thing just crashes. This game is basically as fair as a sports match. When you start playing against teams that already have a competitive advantage by the fact that they've maybe even played the game before, that's when you kind of start getting into mixed territory, so I'm really not going to comment on how fair this game is. Jack of Hearts is a fun one. I got the Jack of Hearts game 1, but the real hard part is getting someone you can actually trust to keep that going all the way through. If you have Chishia in your lobby, that's free. Just team up with him and boom. You're both set for eternity. And as long as you got time on your hands and you know who it is and you know you're safe, I mean, you're just good. If you want an OP survival strat, you actually want to get in a big group. You want to get into a big group and then have everybody say the suit at the exact same time and have everyone hang out with each other at the exact same time. That means no coups can start, no pointing fingers, and if everyone says it at the same time, they can't lie. If one person stutters, it looks suspicious, and then you go to Chishia for your answer of whether they were lying or not. I'd give myself a 9 out of 10 for survivability, but like, if I wasn't already suspicious about the guy, maybe I'd give myself like a 5. Actually deducing it without kind of looking at stereotypical tropes of movies is hard if you have someone that's actually like good at this. Of course, there's the tell of anyone who tries to manipulate someone else obviously becomes suspicious. But I don't think that's a good enough tell because people can manipulate them just so they can boost their chances of survival and in the long term figure out who the threat is. The best question is to question people about things that the Jack of Hearts might not know. Does everybody in the room know what the beach is? If they don't, you can, with some ease, kind of pick on the people that don't know. Maybe ask them more specific questions. If you're playing my super long-term game though, really, eventually people are going to start cracking. They don't want to be down in this bunker even if they are immortal. So anyone who tries to pull away from the group also gets suspicious. The only reason I'd rate it so low is because even if you play it super safely, if one thing falls apart, then you kind of get this weird domino effect. All the survivors of the actual game took an insane risk trusting each other because if they had a Jack of Hearts at that caliber, then they would have just lost. I don't really know what the heck they were thinking. I was expecting a lot from the Queen of Spades, mainly because in the game of Hearts, the Queen of Spades is known as the Killer Queen because it gives you a bunch of negative points. Well, I mean, it gives you points, but the points are bad. It was an alright game. This game, I wouldn't really say it's fair or unfair, it's just kind of dumb. If you're not the king, you basically get to live. If you want to leave, you just got to get everyone together and say, hey, you guys want to leave this game? And then the queen's like, what? Why are you guys leaving? And you're like, oh, too bad, peace. And then the last round, you just let everybody tag you. But of course, you're going to have to put on your conscience that every time a round goes by, the king dies. But if you get player once, you're basically alive for as long as you want. I don't remember if they said you didn't need to renew your visa, and I don't think they were lying, so... Though it is a little suspicious that there's only 5 people to start the game with on the queen's team. Since it's just too easy, if they aren't lying, I'm just going to say that they are. Really, the best strat is just to convince everyone that they're lying, and then on the last round, you just all go to the king and then get tagged. Like, easy. Though some people are going to be dumb and they're going to make dumb decisions, and really counting on that is going to be hard. If you get one person, it's kind of easier to get other people. It just slowly starts building, so the queen still might try and prevent you, which might be a little annoying, might nab 1 or 2 people, but I think eventually she'll realize it's futile and just peace out. I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. Really, it just like, are you a good speaker or not? For the King of Diamonds, I literally went, what if I just play this with them? And so I did. Here's how I did. First 2 rounds, I think you're just kind of destined to lose. Exactly what happened to me. Exactly what happened to everyone else besides the King of Diamonds. I slowly began to realize, though, it's kind of hard to play along with them because, first of all, your score isn't added to the average, and a 5-person versus 6-person game is going to play a lot differently in people's minds. People are likely going to say different numbers, but just for now, I was going to play off of their points. Round 3 I won, but when you keep going, they start skipping some rounds, which just adds some error, but that's fine because you can just add that on to the final score as like a maximum penalty to see if you're even in the range of winning. I survived round 7, but then they skipped 8 and 9, and then for 10 I lost, but it didn't matter because someone finally died. Even if I played the worst possible, I'd still be alive here. I'm pretty sure those guys literally lost every single round. Now that they established that there are no ties, I won round 11 because everyone else tied. Round 12 I lost, but I'm still in the game. After rule 3, there isn't really a reason to keep playing because no matter what, you're likely going to tie with someone, but I did. Assuming my number doesn't affect the medium, I won all 3 other games because I figured out what the narrative was going to do on the last one, and I just played it exactly how I thought it would go for the other 2. So technically, I guess I survived with a maximum of 9 out of 10, but I mean, it's really impossible to gauge. I'd say this game is pretty fair. No one has any advantage. Everyone's kind of stuck in their own seat. They can make judgments about each other. And I think in specific, nobody here knew each other, which was also very important to the game. I'm gonna keep King of Spades real short. I'm just gonna preface this by saying he's such a good character. Like, him being a constant game that the players are under for the entire duration of stage 2 was such a good idea. Although bro is just biased as hell. Like, he hunts down specific people for no reason.
In terms of fairness,
He's an absolute menace, but I feel like nobody can hit a single shot on this guy at all. His head is clean open, but nope, we're just gonna keep on missing. Like, get one dude to just line something up. Like, seriously? Not a single person? What about Niragi and that sniper he had at the beach? But oh no, Aguni can hit this exploding can that kills him instead. Okay, you know what? Yeah, okay, whatever. Survivability, just run away, man. Survivability for the Queen of Hearts is, I don't know, it's interesting. I feel like the first thing I would have done there is just like knock her out. Because I'm thinking, okay, she's the Queen of Hearts. So what happens if I just beat her up? I mean, I would never hurt her, but okay, that's not so... I mean, like, she is bae, right? But when it comes down to it, she just killed everybody I know. Especially when she said, yes, I killed everyone. But I'm assuming that, like, killing her is a bad thing because our main character here decided to stop because he assumed that, I guess. I don't know. Taking a break is such a bad idea, though. I don't know why you'd even do that. When she puts the fine china out and I have a hammer, I'm like, obviously I'm just gonna break all of that. And there's no point in listening to her. The whole point of the game is, if she's talking, that's the only thing that can make us lose. If we decide to quit, that is when we lose. So why would we ever want to quit? You don't want to quit? Perfect. Then don't talk to her. This is a survivability 10 out of 10. Just like, come on. Actually, I take it back. The only thing I think that would sabotage you is if your teammate is really dumb. But like, that's such a teamwork game. That's a club game. That's not Hearts. Hearts is all about betrayal. Where's the betrayal here? Though they kind of allude that Hearts is more about trickery, so I guess maybe that's it. But knowing that, then why would you listen to her at all then? Like, what? In the manga, the Joker is not a game. It's the embodiment of Borderland and kind of like, it's like the ruler. He like determines the games, he controls everything, he's like the mastermind, blah, blah, blah. But like, I really hope if they make a season 3, it's like the whole world is like tricking them, like the world that they're in is actually fake, and that's like the Joker's game. They took a lot of liberties with the actual show, so I'm like, might as well go all the way, because me personally, I'm not a fan of the ending. If it's an illusion game and you forget everything though, yeah, you might as well say goodbye to this video.